I'm sure the man probably learned his lesson because it cost him a head coaching job. He's going to get another opportunity because the NFL is only forgiving when you are super, super successful. If Ray Rice could still run the football like Ezekiel Elliott, not that he ever could.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, he'd be picked up immediately.
That's right.
Immediately. That's how it goes, and it's tough to say everybody's deserving of a second chance, but you get a second chance if you got the skills. Greg Hardy got second chance after second chance because Greg Hardy could still rush the passer.
That's right, and that's what makes all the difference. To the head coaching comment though here, Tom Capel's going to get picked up or at least interviewed someplace. Doug Marrone, I thought got a raw deal in Buffalo. I never really knew why he was outed in Buffalo. The team wasn't great, and he drafted E.J. Manuel, which I guess that
could fire you. I watched the Jets and the Bills on Sunday and watched E.J. Manuel play, and that could fire you. That could be your lone transgression right there.
Yeah, he stinks, and that's a shame. But to the all fairness of Doug Marrone, I think he coached a team that was competent and a team that showed up and played to win week in and week out. They weren't great, but you can't give a guy 1 year and hope something great happens. Really too bad. But Doug Marrone's name's going to come into the conversation a little bit more, too. Another name I see floating around is Sean McDermott, defensive coordinator in Carolina. He had a really nice year last year, ran a really aggressive, solid defense last year, which I think is enough for him to...
Yes, not so much this year.
Do a job. San Diego is rumored to be interested in McDermott. I that defense this year. Is that what you just asked me?
Yeah, not so much this year.
No, not so much this year at all. To the point where there's a rumor swirling around that they're going to fire Ron Rivera tomorrow. I think
that would be a shame. That would be a shame.
Nuts. That's
crazy.
There aren't that many good head coaches out there. There aren't that many men that are capable of coaching in the NFL.
That's crazy to me. For performance on the field, yes, you had a down year. But the year before, let's not forget, you were 15-1. You went to the Super Bowl. So that's a great season that majority of coaches in their career cannot even say they had anything like that before. So you cannot fire Ron Rivera after this year. You give him another year.
I think he definitely deserves an opportunity to come back. That team has a lot of things to figure out. They had problems up front. Cam did not have a good year. He got cracked early and beat up early. I think if you fire Ron Rivera, you're going to have a real hard time replacing him with anybody.
Doesn't it kind of feel to you that Cam is kind of like every other year? Like he'll have a really, really, really great year, and then kind of a, not so great year the next year. And then probably next year he'll have a great year. It just seems kind of like every other year, like the Giants in baseball.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It does seem like that. It seems like from his rookie year, which was a great year, his second year, which was a flop, his third year, great year, fourth year, flop. Yeah, it certainly does seem like.
It seems like it's like the Giants. They win 20, and then they win the World Series in an even year. The next year they don't make the playoffs. So
sports, it's a crazy world, man. But yeah, to fire Ron Rivera, I think is ridiculous. Hopefully that's not the case. But as you look around, that's some of the commentary. The rest of the NFL, man, who knows what the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to do? Who really cares? I don't care what the 49ers do at all. It looks as though Hugh Jackson is very safe in Cleveland. It doesn't necessarily look that way for Chuck Pagano in Indianapolis.
No, and I'm surprised. That's one I'm surprised he made it. If anything, if they're not going to fire Chuck Pagano, okay, fine, but somebody's got to do something about Ryan Grigson.
Yeah, it's been bad.
If I'm Andrew Luck, I'm going into that owner's Jim Irsay's office right now and be like, look, I am the face of this franchise. I'm your investment. You're going to kill me, and I'm not going to let you kill me. Fire that man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they haven't been able to protect Andrew Luck since he's been there. He's been completely unprotected. He gets thumped week in, week out. Yeah.
Well, you got to talk like Andrew Luck, though. You got to get that Geico. You're going to kill me, Mr. Irsay. You're going to kill me.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good. But Grigson's draft picks, I don't have time to actually pull that up, but I would be really, really interested to see what he's done over the last, what's he been there, 4 years now?
Too long.
Yeah.
You went and got an old DeQuell Jackson. I mean, that's the only good the player you got on your defense who's old. You got an old Frank Gore. I mean,
well, here, let me throw you some draft picks. We're going back. Well, let's see. We're going back to 2012 for Ryan Grigson. Here it is. Gotta love the internet, man. This stuff is just right here at your fingertips. First overall, Andrew Luck. Great. That's fine.
Yeah, but I mean that was like that was almost like just a dead giveaway. The answer, it was like the cheat sheet was right there. The answer was right there. It was a dead giveaway. You take Andrew Luck as the number one overall pick.
Talking about.
Yeah, it's a dead giveaway.
Kobe Fleener gone, no longer with the team. Dwayne Allen, been an average tight end. He had one really nice game this year. Thank you, New York Jets.
Yeah, that doesn't count because it was almost like he and Luck were just outside playing catch.
That was it. Now T.Y. Hilton was a third pick, their second pick in the third round, same year as Andrew Luck was drafted. Now T.Y. Hilton, found out of Florida International, is a nice pick. That's a really nice pick.
Yeah, for being where you got him. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really nice pick. But guys like let me throw a couple names. These guys are no longer with the team. Josh Chapman, Vic Ballard, Levon Brazil, Justin Anderson, Tim Mo Fugger, linebacker out of Vanderbilt.
I don't care. I don't care. He may not be in the league, but I want to go find Tim Mo Fugger.
Well, it's just Tim. It's just Tim Fugger.
Oh, damn.
But
Tim
if my
Fugger.
last name were Fugger, I would not be able to resist naming every one of my children, giving them all the middle name Mo.
Tim Mo Fugger.
Yeah, come on.
That's awesome. What about my man? What about my German sensation on that team? What about the one year they drafted Bjorn Werner?
Yeah, Bjorn Werner out of Florida State. He was a first-round pick, 24th overall the following year in that draft. No longer with the team. He was picked up by somebody this year and promptly released.
Yeah, you know what though? I heard he is a great teammate on his beer fest competition team. Heard he's really good.
He can handle the boot. Das Boot.
Das Boot.
A couple other players that are still with the team from that draft. Kerwin Williams is not. He had a nice day with Arizona. John Boyette is no longer there. Montori Hughes gone. Justice Cunningham.
What about Philip Dorsett? Is he still on that team? Well, he's on the team, but where's his production been? Not.
Been a better pick was the third round, 90th overall, Dante Moncrief out of Mississippi. He's been a much better player.
Yeah.
Jonathan Newsom, Andrew Jackson, these guys are all awful. So I don't want to recap every single one of them, but just in last year's draft alone was Philip Dorsett. Number one, he was their first draft pick, 29th overall. Terrible. Looking at all these games, Clayton Geathers might be their shining spot. I don't want to call a guy a star by any stretch, but he's on the field every week. So Grigson's been a huge failure. Yeah, you're definitely right about that. He's got to go. It's either him or Chuck Pagano or both. If I'm Irsay, I'd say both and start from scratch. I know Pagano's got a heartfelt story. His fight against cancer. Look, we all love to see somebody survive and beat that nasty son of a gun, but at the same time, man, it is a business.
Yeah, but you know what? At the same time, I'm okay with it because the fact is he survived it. He beat it. He's made money. I'm sure he's got a family that loves him and everything. He'll be fine. I mean, he's a
great defensive coordinator. He really had a lot of success as a coordinator, so he'll go find a job. He may end up in Tampa because Mike Smith won't be here next year. Won't be here. He'll be somewhere else.
Well, it's all fun to speculate, but some of the guys, they're not. I don't know if the Bengals are going to part ways with your man Marvin.
They're not. They're not. And again, I've defended him for years. I thought this year he would be the year to go. But why do you fire somebody that makes you consistently competitive in one of the toughest divisions in football? You don't fire the guy, and I think you don't fire him this year. I thought they were going to. I really did, but they look, nobody's safe yet. Ask Lovie Smith, man. Lovie got chopped about a week after that season ended last year, and that was a panic move by Buccaneer brass. But in my opinion, I don't think they were trying to run Lovie out. I think Lovie ran an antiquated, ancient defensive system that worked exceptionally well with Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs, but not with Chris Conte and anyhow.
Can't blame him, though.
I don't want to bash Levante David because he's a good linebacker. I watched him play. He's a good player. But Lovie Smith got hacked 5 days after the season ended, so nobody's safe this week. But by the end of this week, you're going to know the Buccaneer brass panicked last year because Dirk Cutter was going to end up at least interviewing in Miami as a head coach. He was going to go somewhere and interview as a head coach because he's a good coordinator. And look, I think he did a nice job with the Buccaneers this year. That defense got Tampa where they are, not Jameis.
What did they finish? Like 9-6-1 or something like that?
9-7. They played all 16 games. So they finished.
No, 9-6-1. I thought they had a tie. I thought they were one team's tie.
No, I thought you just said 9-6. I'm sorry.
No, I thought they had that one. I thought they. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of Washington and Cincinnati had that tie. Yeah,
you're right. There were two ties. Washington, Cincinnati, and somebody else tied this year too, but it's unimportant. But yeah, Tampa, it was 9-7. It was a good showing. They had a couple games they probably should have beat the Raiders. Sans a penalty at the very end of that game, Tampa wins that game. And all of a sudden 10-6, and now they're in the mix, and they're moving and shaking like Mickey Donovan a little bit better than everybody else. But
nobody moves and shakes like Mickey Donovan.
That's right. Don't get that twisted. But that Buccaneer team, and I'm a firm believer that Winston will probably be fine, but that defense was really, really good this year. A la Mike Smith put these guys in a position.
Winston's problem to me is he just, for a quarterback, he's just got to get in touch with his, he's got to stop being so damn his emotions are his problem. I think that was a public display when he threw the headbutt there on Sunday night. He's not like that consistently week in and week out. I do watch the Bucs every week, and he's not an emotional wreck. He can get a little wound up. There's no doubt about it. You're very right. And the thing about it, he can be very mistake prone. That's the other thing that he needs to grow.
Well, I'm going to say something that's going to piss off the majority of Tampa Bay Buccaneer listeners, but he's a frickin' turnover machine. He doesn't protect the football. He sat in the pocket last week. When everything broke down, he slides left. The pocket barely moves. He's got a little protection, but he's got to have a clock in his head. He's hit from behind. The ball squirts out. You
got a kid who's
stand there.
He's trying to do everything. Trying to do everything.
Wait for the play to come together outside of a pocket. You've got to have a clock in your head. And this is going to lead us, now that we've covered coaches and other things, I want to talk about briefly, I don't care if this show goes 6 hours tonight, I want to talk briefly about two quarterbacks in the NFL that are, in my eyes, the reason why their two teams are as good as they are. Watch Aaron Rodgers and the clock in his head. It is precise. It is dialed. He understands.
It's almost not even fair to compare anybody else in the world who's ever played to Aaron Rodgers.
He's got such an uncanny. Steve Young was like this. Steve Young would almost sense. I swear to you, he had eyes in the back of his head. And there's been a lot of players. Randall Cunningham had eyes in the back of his head. I used to watch games and think, did he see him coming? Does he have rear view mirrors on his helmet? What's he doing?
It must be instinct. Like you could almost maybe just instinctively, feel somebody coming from behind. I mean, it'd be very, these guys would be really, 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 really protected if they were in prison. I tell you, because they really can feel the heat coming.
It's instinct, but it's instinct based on information and processing it and understanding. If all that's going on in front of me, this is what's going on behind me. He's got to know who's protecting him and how long they got. There's a clock, and I don't mean like the literal 1, 2, 3. I don't mean that clock, but there's that gut clock when you know, okay, I got to bail. Time to bail. And at least shift or move. And sometimes you'll watch some of these great players, like Rodgers is excellent at it. He'll move 6 or 7 feet in either direction, and all he's really doing is expanding his view of what's going on behind the line of scrimmage. He's giving himself an opportunity to see what's happening and see if he's got more time to work downfield to get a receiver to work back to him, or if he's just got to make a break and run. And Aaron Rodgers can run.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers can run. I know Tom Brady can't run, obviously, or scramble like Rodgers, but talk about pocket awareness. That guy just absolutely knows when to get rid of the ball.
Between Brady and Rodgers, those guys are excellent. And Drew Brees is phenomenal.
Yeah.
These guys are great, great players. And Winston has a real problem with the clock in his head. He just doesn't. It's slow. It's a Play-Doh clock. It just doesn't tick like everything else, and he's got to get better at that if he's gonna want to be a successful NFL quarterback, because he's a freaking turnover machine. He puts the ball on the ground. I watched that game the other day, and I'm watching this particular play that I'm talking about. As he rolls out, in the back of my head, I swear to you, Joe, I'm like, he's gonna fumble. You just knew he was gonna take a hit, and he's got the ball in one hand, and he's standing there posing for a picture. You can't do that at this level. You just can't do it.